Hello YouTube. Today we're going to put this design, it is our latest design. It's going to be the state outlines with an opening for a monogram in it. This is my home state with my monogram in it, and we're going to put on a pink bag, which is my favorite color in case you hadn't gathered yet. We're going to put it on a bag, but the little trick we're going to use today is to put the craft foam under it. What the craft foam is going to do is we're going to put it underneath our satin stitch, and it's going to make the satin stitch pop up more, so that my applique really jumps off my bag. So what you're going to need is some craft foam. The craft foam is going to be sold in the big sheets at the craft store. I am using the 2mm craft foam. It needs to be the skinny craft foam. Your machine can't stitch through the big chunky stuff. You need to cut them out about the size of your applique fabric that you're using. They're going to need to go under your design completely, so cut appropriately. And they also need to match your thread colors. So these are my thread colors, and these are the colors of foam I picked, because you might be able to see some of your foam and you want it to match as closely as you can. You're also going to need your applique fabric and your bag. So I have a small confession before we start. I really wanted this pink bag, but this pink bag is very little. This is my 5x7 hoop. My hoop didn't fit in it and where it would lie flat, because I have a single needle with a bed. So I cut a hole in the bottom on the other side of my bag. I'm gonna put a zipper in it when we're done. Now this bag is for me. I don't know if you really want to do this for your customers, but it was the best way I could figure to do what I wanted to do. But anyway, when you're watching the video, it's gonna look really weird because it's obviously been a little engineered to get in the hoop correctly. So that's what's going on. But I'm going to hoop it. I've put some tearaway fuse and tear under here. And I've marked with, I use disappearing ink pen to mark my center. And we're gonna line it up, and then we're gonna go over to the machine. Alright, so I got my bag hooped. I went over to my machine and it did the placement stitch and my zigzag stitch, and I turned off my extra fabric. Right now the next stitch it's going to do is my satin stitch. So what I'm going to do is take my craft foam. My satin stitch is going to be yellow, so my craft foam is yellow. I'm going to put this completely over the top of wherever my satin stitch is going to go. I'm going to put it back in the machine, and the machine is going to satin stitch through my foam and through my bag. When it gets done, we're going to then pull the foam off. I've also put a new needle in my machine, just to make it a little bit easier to get through all the craft foam. So we're going to go back to the machine and let it satin stitch. Alright, so the machine did our satin stitch all the way around. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to peel off our craft foam. So I removed all of the foam, and you can see how poofy it is, so it really helps our design stand out from the bag. So what I'm going to do now is our circle is going to be in yellow, so I'm going to do the applique for this part, and then I'll show you how to put the foam on again. So we've done our circle, we did our placement stitch and our zigzag stitch, and I cut all the extra fabric. Now all I'm going to do is the same thing again. So I'm going to put my orange fabric, and the machine will satin stitch around, and we'll remove it again. Alright, so the machine did its satin stitch again. We're going to do the same thing again, where we're just going to pull off the craft foam. Now the next step is my monogram, and I'm going to have my monogram foam too. So I'm going to put my craft foam over my circle, and it's going to stitch out my monogram next. Okay, so I did the same thing with monogram. I put foam on it, and it did the satin stitch. You probably, if you just really look really closely, you might be able to see some of the foam. That's why you need to match it. So you can kind of see on an angle how raised it is, versus this is my original one, and see on an angle it's not raised. So it really gives the bag some pop, or that design some pop from my bag. You can do this with pretty much any fat satin stitch. this bee on the Alabama, it's not fat enough. And you can test it out and see what happens. Just test it out first before you do it on anything expensive. And that's it. I got my gold zipper all installed and it's tacky glory. And my bag is now done. I hope you enjoyed our little quick tutorial on the foam satin stitches. If you have any questions, let me know and we'll see you later.